Hi, folks. Ben speaking from Ben's World, aka Deadline TV. It's www.postmanproductionswordpress.org, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I've just been out on the road, hocking my wares, getting the magazine set up for the next issue. Not too far away, got some great stuff in that next issue. Uh, but as I'm out there running around selling my wares, I'm also getting to see the country and see what's unfolding. So I'm the eyes on the ground. Today I've been in Kaikoura and talking to Sharon from Beam Me Up Coffee, great coffee by the way too, cool little funky place in Kaikoura, and she's a mayoral candidate. Really hooked up with everyone in the scene, and she's like, "Well, look, we're having this discussion tonight about protect our coastlines." I think it's a long day, and I'll put all this up on my Facebook page and website later on. But it's basically they're doing a model which has worked very well in other places around the countryside, where instead of one group getting all like, "Oh, everything's bad," they've gone around and they've canvassed the people. So they've got the surfers, they've got the people involved in tourism, they've got the iwi, the Maori Council. Everyone's come through and said, "Look, guys, how does this affect you?" uh, and because what's actually happened, and but I guess I should have explained first, is that New Zealand Transport Agency and Nectar have turned around and they built this highway down Kaikoura, beautiful highway, put a lot of work into it, worked really well with the locals. Everyone was quite happy, and then they started noticing these barriers going up in this thing on this dual purpose of a cycleway coming through, and they were like, "Wait a minute, we can't get to our surf breaks. We can't get to our food sources. We can't. That's going for a cemetery. That's just a total fucking shit that had been done for the Resource Management Act would never have been allowed. In fact, some of the people talking tonight were saying about other bits of legislation which says this is the do not touch line. Under the Christchurch earthquake, well, under the Kaikoura legislation combined with the Christchurch earthquake legislation, the process for emergency processes, like we need to get the road open, allowed, and it's for purposes for basically for restoration and basically getting things up and running. It doesn't need resource management act, so it doesn't need consent process if anything gets stuck and pushed through super fast. And these other guys have turned around and gone, "Oh, goody, we can jump on that bandwagon," and they're pushing their agendas through. Interesting enough, this all came from originally from Winston Peters pre-election. Got the support of Simon Bridges and Paula Bennett. So just putting that as a bit of the political background. Can't blame this one completely on Jacinda this time around, but it's the same thing. These guys just doesn't matter who National Labour. They've got these guys in their pocket, especially the trucking lobby. And that's one of the things I said tonight. I said, like, so safety, safety. They keep on about safety. Whose safety? So none of our safety. Their reasons don't stack up, and they explain this actually leads to the power being depleted first because there's only certain points that people can actually get to. Those areas are also kind of tied up with. I mean, like I'm giving you the simple ABC. There's don't take everything I say as gospel. What I'm saying, but basically just that they're going through is that. After the earthquake, they sort of relocated areas where they put the power on for the idea of them to be restoring themselves, but that is the same areas where they're actually saying, well, actually, this is the area where you're allowed to actually go and access food. We'll get down to the beach, so it's going to kind of like to screw that plan up to begin with, and it goes on chapter verse, all things that basically they put out ideas, and then when they're saying like, well, actually, no, guys, that's not going to work. They change the ground of why they're doing it, and not explain to who, so, and as they're also saying, oh, well, we'll put that on consideration while they're actually doing it. So it's like, well, it's a bit hard because you've already bolted the horse. So this is some of the things that these guys are looking at tonight, and they said they brought in different groups and said, well, what can we do? And they've got targeted planned of they have people that we're going to target, basically the minister's office, the people that are going to target the different agencies, and the people that are going to turn around and target the outside canvassing force. So a lot of Maori Council came through tonight, and that's my favourite red, white, black. But hey, they were there, and the sovereign 1835 wasn't. So power to them. And when all said and done, like in this case, they probably have a little snippet more sovereignty, and that's just my opinion. So please don't quote me on that. And more importantly, they're here and nobody else is. So cool. We'll lend credence to that, and the people on the ground are very passionate about what they're doing, and I think the reasons are in the right place. Um, so you've got the old school national farmers here tonight, and some of them rolling their eyes, but also kind of one of them turned around and said, look, we're gonna turn around and do this big pictorial advertising. We're going to make sure that the flags, it can be 2 flags, it can be 3 flags. We don't care. It's just like the thing is, it's got to be a we thing, and we want to make that very clear. This is not a Pākehā Māori. This is us, the local people, saying fuck off. Which brings me to this whole thing too. Like they're not done. The other side's not done. They've already been pushing this manoeuvre at the moment, part of this whole climate action thing too, which is being mentioned. Well, oh, we do this because of climate. And they're going, well, that's funny because our sea level actually rose after, so that's going nonsense. But yeah, so some of this climate stuff that's coming through, they've been tying that into that. It's like, well, that's really just bullshit. And it's same situation. Like look at cycleways through the middle of a place like Dunedin, which is like it doesn't make any sense for the people that are there. Proportionally, rain, geography, hillside, how usage, offset versus the small boutique area that it's actually basically crushed. And basically, what I'm talking about, and we'll leave it there, is the element of a rollout infrastructure, which is not about serving the people that live in those areas, is about pushing the big boys agendas, and it's that big boys agenda is just going to ride roughshod over all of us. And we'll leave it with that. Good night. Show you my bodes. That's where I'm staying tonight. Shag, the lazy Shag in Kaikoura. They always look after me very well. So do the wonderful people at Atlantis and Picton. In fact, lots of people look after me when I'm on the road. So I don't, it's a hard yard of work. I literally wear the bottom of my shoes off, but it's not like I'm not without a support crew. Thank you all. Couldn't do it without you. Love you and leave you for tonight.